Hey everybody, welcome back to Wonderland with our special guest, Joel's, as per usual. This video is going to be discussing what to expect when you're expecting, in terms of bunnies, that is. So I have two bunnies, a male and a female. One is a Holland Lop and the other is a Mini Rex. The Mini Rex is the female and she just had a litter of 5 little buns. I know, exciting, right? So I wasn't expecting to have the buns. I knew it was probably eventually going to happen if I didn't have the male neutered. And I went into their habitat and I was going to give one of them a little pat. And I look in and pops out a little baby bunny head. And here I am. So I run out of my kitchen and I call my boyfriend and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, there are baby buns. I was so excited. I was shaking. Oh, heart palpitations. It was just out of control. But back to the point. What to expect when you're expecting. There are articles online about the pregnancy of a rabbit and what it might go through. And then there's also things called pseudo-pregnancies, which is the most confusing of all because the descriptions are identical. I did notice a little bit of difference in her pregnancy that might be an indicator that can better help you decide if your bun is actually pregnant. And I would like to get into those. The main factor to look for if you're wondering if your bun is pregnant is a habit called nesting. You'll notice your bunny will start to dig a lot in its cage and it might become kind of annoying. I know it did for me. I could barely sleep because she would mostly dig at night specifically. And then I started to notice a habit. She would gather up as much hay or any object really that was soft like paper, and she would run into an area of the habitat and stick it all in there and then dig a little more. It was very noisy and the hay in their habitat disappeared really quickly because she was using it as her nesting materials. During this time, your bun might be really aggressive towards you. I know I was trying to clean out their habitat and I went near the area that she had been building that nest and she lunged and bit me. She has never bitten me before. She loves to be pet, just not so much picked up, but she still never bit me in the past. So that is a huge warning sign. If your bun is nesting and gathering up these materials and then is also acting really aggressive towards you, it's highly likely that they are pregnant. Another big factor is during the pseudo-pregnancies, they usually only last 2 to 3 days, maximum maybe 4. And in an actual pregnancy, this will go on for more extended period of time. I know she had been nesting for roughly 6 to 7 days and she calmed down at one point, which I just thought the pseudo-pregnancy had ended. But it turns out she had had her babies. That is a huge factor to look for. If this is going on for longer than 4 days, it's highly likely that your bun is pregos. Now they do say you can palpitate your rabbit, which is going under their stomach and feeling for little grape-sized lumps. However, when I tried to do this with her, I couldn't feel any distinguishable lumps, so I assumed nothing was there. That is a really difficult one. If you do want to know for sure, I would recommend taking your bun to the vet and having her checked out to see, because they have so much more expertise than I do and they could definitely tell you. I really didn't want to pay for the vet visit if I thought she was just going through a pseudo-pregnancy. A huge factor in this nesting behavior is them pulling out their fur. I had no idea my bun had pulled out her fur, but she had taken it from under her front legs and began to build the nest. This usually happens 1 to 2 days out from giving birth. So if you see your bun begin to rapidly pull out their fur in any manner, I would keep a very close eye on approaching baby buns. Once your female rabbit has given birth, I would leave the nest undisturbed for 1 to 3 days, after which I would look at the nest because it can become a breeding ground for bacteria and cause lots of problems for the baby buns, which we don't want. We want our baby buns in the best shape possible. At this point, it would be safe to say you can remove the babies from the nest, clean out the habitat and replace it with fresh bedding, and put them back in the same corner that they were nesting in. I had to do a different situation because my male and female lived together, so I had to separate the two because, very important, your female bun can become pregnant immediately after giving birth, and I did not want more than what I just had. So separation is very, very important. Separate your male and female. Make sure the baby buns are in a clean new nest after 3 days, and henceforth you need to make sure the buns are getting fed. Your female rabbit will typically feed at around 12 to 2 o'clock in the morning and will only feed once a day. A lot of the time you'll look into the cage and notice she's pretending like the baby buns aren't there. And that was very concerning to me because I was thinking she was neglecting them, she wasn't feeding them. When you check the buns in the morning, check for round, full tummies. Make sure they're not sunken in or their little rib cages are super exposed, because that means one or all of them were not fed that night. In this case, also take your buns to the vet. Very important, because it's very easy for a little baby bun to die like that. They have to be fed daily, and professionals would be the best to help you out in a scenario when your female rabbit is neglecting. Good news though, if your rabbit has gone to the extent of building the nest and pulling the fur, it's highly likely that she will regularly feed the baby buns, and it's not too much to be concerned about, but I would check just to be safe.